Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Catherine Toll with my co-host Stephazoid, and we are towards the end of our program. But before you run away, we have a wonderful guest here on behalf of our sponsor, Modern Wolf. We have Kevin back here as well to help us co-host. Daniel, hello. How are you doing today? Tell us a little bit about your game.
Well, I'm making a game called Ostronauts, which is sort of a related game to Neo Scavenger, my last game. And it's a little bit of, if you took a little bit of RimWorld, a little bit of The Sims, and you maybe threw in a little bit of a submarine simulator, and blended it all together to try and make a procedural Firefly episode generator. I know what we're talking about. So,
those are a lot of words that I like.
Well, good. I chose all the right words. But yeah, this is my second game since going indie. I used to work for BioWare, and then I quit to go indie for a bit. Made my first game, Neo Scavenger, which launched somewhere around 2014, depending on who you ask, and then started this game around 2016-ish. So that's kind of the airdrop picture of who I am and where I'm coming from.
Very cool. And when did you start working on Ostronauts?
I think the first line of code for it was probably 2016, maybe 2015, somewhere in that ballpark. So,
what is it like, your experience at least, moving from like a AAA to indie games? How has that experience been for you?
Terrifying, but you probably knew that.
Imagine.
AAA was definitely like a dream come true for me, and it's something I sought out for a long time. And despite all that fighting to get into it, after about 7 years, I was starting to want to get into something on my own. And it was going from very large, very slow projects to something where you're basically in charge of making every decision all the time, every day, which is liberating at first, but exhausting pretty quickly. I think probably any job's like that. It's liberating at first and exhausting quickly. But I think it's everything that I wanted, plus a little bit of stress and anxiety on top of that.
Well, at least you got everything you wanted out of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mission success.
Tell us a little bit about what it's like to work with Modern Wolf as a publisher, and how did you get connected to them?
Well, actually, Fernando, the CEO of Modern Wolf, and I go back a little bit before Modern Wolf. So that's how we met. He reached out to me when I was doing the mobile version of Neo Scavenger and offered to provide me with marketing help. So we signed each other up and did a bunch of work there. I was pretty happy with how that went. And when he later on told me he was part of a new publishing label, he asked me if I'd be interested in being a part of that label because A, the games were very much like the kinds of games I'm making, B, we got along very well, and C, they seem to have their hearts in the right place in terms of shepherding indies in a sort of healthy work-life balance. One of their big things was we don't want crunch, but also just making sure that they're sustainable in what they do. So yeah, the pitch was good. I like the people behind it, and everyone they've hired since Fernando has also been amazing. So it's been a blast.
Oh, that's great.
Now you mentioned that you marked when you started this game based on the first line of code. At what point does the game idea you have really kind of solidify? Because since it is just you kind of working on it, I feel like that might solidify a little bit faster in that environment as opposed to a bigger kind of by committee environment, or is it the other way around?
Maybe a little bit of both. What I found was I wanted to make a game generally in this vicinity for a very long time, like even as far back as building Lego spaceships and wanting to simulate what's going on in those spaceships. Pieces of this game existed in my head for a long time, and it wouldn't surprise me if there are changes in the near future to that vision, because I think one of the cool things about being indie is you can kind of be nimble and change. But yeah, a lot of it was feeling my way through this sort of organically. And I do actually work with a fair number of people, but in smaller capacities. Like I'm the only employee, but I do work with a lot of contractors, and some of them are just like I need illustrations done, so I go to some illustrators that I have a lot of fun working with, or the same composer from Neo Scavengers working on this one. And frequently their input helps drive what I decide to do. And then, of course, being in early access is a huge kind of sanity check for some of the design ideas that work and the ones that don't, and things I haven't considered.
Yeah. What have been some of your favorite things about working with a publisher?
Support. I would say the biggest thing, I didn't really need the financial support initially. There was a little bit sort of attached to the contract because I could have used a little extra. But the big thing for me was like marketing support, somebody to just be like putting life in that aspect of the game, help with community management to a degree, and even as I was doing development, sort of bouncing sort of business decisions off of them, like hiring decisions. Do they know people that they could, like I think my community manager for a while, Karis, who is now their community manager, came on their recommendation after having worked with one of their other clients. So it's like having kind of an entourage, I guess. You know, they're there to kind of help you up and support
People
you.
building you up.
Yeah, that's right. They're carrying you along. So I mean, that's what I sought them out for, and that's what they've definitely provided.
Good.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
I have questions, and I know that these might be too vague in scope, so please forgive me ahead of time. But coming from a larger studio, you know, knowing how those processes kind of worked and knowing the things you wanted to avoid from that and things you wanted to emulate from that, and then going to the indie space and kind of having that same kind of experience of things that if you could go back and do again, you would do differently. What would you say to students who might be in their senior year of school at a college or at a university looking to get into this industry? What advice would you give from both the AAA side of your career and from the indie side of your career for people that are starting out?
I would actually say there's one piece of advice which works in both camps, and that is create as often and as frequently as possible, and share what you're creating with as many people as possible, not only to get their feedback, but to kind of get yourself out there, to make a name for yourself and to give the world an idea of what you can do. Because I've been through one or two hiring phases where, you know, I'm looking at dozens of people's applications and resumes and things like that. And the thing that spoke to me the most every single time was portfolio material. Even if you're a programmer or, I mean, a voice actor or whatever it is, show me what you've done before, because I can guarantee you, whether it's AAA or if it's indie, the thing that speaks the most is what you have done, what you've actually put, you know, on the ground as far as talent or even just grit, right? Like the fact that you made it through something to the end, enough that you could share it instead of just dropping the idea and moving on to something else. Like people want to see what you make, and you know, some more than others, but definitely share as much as you can about what you're building.
That's exactly
great
the kind of answer I
advice.
was looking for.
Yeah, go do, be creative, you know, be a part of things and be in the community that you want to see yourself in. And yeah, I think that's great advice. Thank you so much, Daniel. Well, we're going to put some links in chat about Ostronauts. Thank you so much for being here on behalf of Modern Wolf, which is the publisher for Ostronauts. And we're going to have to wrap up the show here now, unfortunately. But I want to thank you so much for your time and joining us. And I wish you the best with your game. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah. Well, this is the sad part of the show where we have to do some outro thank yous, and we're going to have to say goodbye. But before we go, we want to say thank you. I know I don't want to either. There's so many more things and developers that I'd love to talk to, but we are done for this year. Hopefully, we'll be back again next year maybe in person, or we'll do it online again. That'll be great too. Please let us know in chat, in Twitch chat, what your favorite games have been, moments that will stick with you, what you'd like to see more of. And thank you for being with us over the course of this event. Six only really exists, for you all in this community and because of you all. So we're really glad we could share all of these amazing indie games with you. Stephazoid, tell us a little bit about these ongoing campaigns.
The ongoing campaigns are amazing. We have one on Steam as well as on Tiltify. And if you need more questions, want more guidance, need to find more indie games, you can always check out 6.seattleindies.org.
It's a really great community. There's a Discord. If you are interested in making games, please reach out and come to our community events. It's a lovely group of people. And you don't have to live in Seattle. I've met other people from other countries, other cities. Please come and be a part of this amazing community. And a huge, huge thank you to all of our sponsors over the course of these 3 weeks, without whom none of this would have been possible. Those are ID at Azure, Play Everywhere, Premac Rogers, Stoic Studio, AIE, 4Culture, Megacrit, Genvid, Modern Wolf, Hooded Horse, Unbound Creations, Quantum Astrophysicist Guild, I got it through it, and Purple Arcade. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to all of our hosts and our production teams, everybody that's been modding in chat. Thank you to all of you if you've been chatting along with us over the course of these 3 days. We could not do any of this without you. Any final parting words, Stephazoid, before we have to say goodbye?
Just all the thanks, all the love. You guys are amazing. And oh my God, check out all of the games. Please wishlist them, pick them up because they're all fantastic.
Yeah, and wishlisting games really can help developers, especially in meetings maybe with a publisher. So even if you don't know if you're going to buy the game, or maybe you're definitely going to buy the game and you don't even need to know when it's going to be out because you're got the pulse in the Discord and everything, please go and wishlist all of these wonderful games on Steam. It really, truly does help the developers. Thank you all for being here, and we're gonna have to say goodnight. Have a great rest of your weekend.
See you guys soon.